News 12 on your side, breaking news.
Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, February 20th. I'm Jessica Dill. We are following breaking news this morning. An overturned 18-wheeler is shutting down traffic on Williston Road between DeSoto Road and Chime Bell Church Road. Here's a live look out there now. This is near Silver Bluff High School. Officials on scene say that the driver was taken to the hospital as a precaution. Crews have been out there since about 4 this morning, and they say they expect to be out there for another couple of hours. So just avoid that area because, again, it has shut down Williston Road. We'll keep you updated on that. In the meantime, we'll get a check of the forecast with meteorologist Tim Strong. The other big story out here, Tim, is that weather. It's cold again.
I'm going to shift this little box around so you can actually see what I'm talking about. I'm kind of moving around the winter weather advisories. There's a couple of counties, Tulliver, Wilkes County, that are under a winter weather advisory until 8 p.m. this evening. Lighter blues down toward the coast here, Jenkins, Screven, Allendale County, and the coastal areas of Georgia, South Carolina. Wind chill advisories until 10 o'clock here. So again, looking at the potential of maybe some flakes flying around in North Georgia in the mountains, of course, into Saturday morning. But as of right now, we just get a few high, thin clouds kind of off to the west, and that may be continuing through much of the day. But at this point, clear skies and a frigid 14 degrees. Winds are out of the west at 3. Very dry air, dew point of only 6. And wind chill value right now currently it is about 9 to 10 degrees here in the metro. So our temps later this afternoon managed to get up to around 40. Mix of clouds and sun at times. Just a very cold evening forecast as well. So you have plans to be outdoors. Just make sure you're dressed warmly. Mid-30s, we'll have lighter winds today out of the east at 3 to 6. But again, that's going to make all the difference in the world at times of those 30s feeling like the 20s towards this evening. Warm up, though, still scheduled for the weekend, which we'll look at coming up in a little while. Jess?
Thank you, Tim. Edgefield County schools are on a 2-hour delay again today. All other counties are on their regular schedules. Richmond County schools are opening their doors 30 minutes early so students don't have to wait out in the cold. They are also canceling all after-school outdoor activities that require school transportation. Now, when these temps drop, people can crank up the heat, but before you reach for that thermostat, power companies are asking you to conserve energy this morning. That's a reason why one high school is lowering its temperatures this morning. News 12's Julie Calhoun is live at SCE&G. Julie, power companies on both sides of the river say it is not a bad idea to try to conserve energy this morning.
Right, definitely not. It's about 18 degrees out here, but definitely feels like it's in the single digits. But students at Jefferson County High School are going to want to bundle up this morning. Jefferson County High School is lowering their heat to help Jefferson Electric with their energy load. They will be lowering the heat from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. this morning. And in a Facebook post, the school says none of the regular classrooms got below 64 degrees. Power companies say they should be able to handle the high energy demands, but they don't want to overwork the systems. And a couple of ways to do that is to try not to use large appliances during the peak times and try to keep the thermostat at around 68 degrees. So instead of turning up the heat, maybe grab another blanket.
It's very hard every morning. I have to come to school and have to go to work. It's like I don't even really want to come outside. It's so terribly unpredictable cold.
Georgia Power expects a big demand too, but they're not as concerned about the power supply. But Governor Nikki Haley is. She's asking people to conserve energy today, and SCE&G says today they're going to be having some of the highest energy uses that they've seen. Actually, historic highs is what they're saying, and the most use will be from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. this morning. Jess?
But Julie, the power companies, they don't actually expect any problems today, right?
No, SCE&G says they should be able to handle the demand, but again, power companies, Georgia Power and SCE&G on both sides of the river say it's probably a good idea to try to conserve energy if you can. And again, the most use will be from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. this morning. So if you can, maybe try to bundle up while you're getting ready to go to work. Jeff?
Julie, thank you for that. New this morning, a family is safe after getting woken up by their smoke detectors around 1:30 this morning. A fire tore through the roof of their Houston Loop home, but no one was injured. Crews were able to contain the blaze in about 10 minutes, but it was enough time for a family to see 30 years of history in their home destroyed.
All the pictures are gone. My parents' stuff is gone. My brother's stuff is gone. They lost everything. Everything is gone.
The family says they tried to fight the fire with a hose, but it was frozen through. The relatives also believe it started in the living room where the heater is. Investigators say the cause of that fire is unknown right now, but the Red Cross says they are seeing an increase in fires as temperatures drop. The organization says it's seen more than 40 house fires in South Carolina since Monday. Those have left more than 150 people homeless. The Red Cross is urging caution when you heat your home. They point to space heaters as one of the biggest danger spots in a home. Aiken Salvation Army Shelter is offering emergency housing because of this weather. They are accepting walk-ins and skipping some normal paperwork until Saturday to make sure everyone who needs a place to stay has one. Officials say some homeless people don't come to the shelter, though, because they don't want to leave their things behind.
They'll stay in abandoned buildings, or they'll stay out in tent city. All those things I go out and just make sure that they have, or I'll talk to people here, find out if they know anybody that's staying that's not using our services.
Officials say that happens more in rural areas like Edgefield County, where it's harder to track where homeless people are and if they need help. And there are 10 warming centers open throughout the day in Richmond County if you need to get out of the cold. The earliest opens at 6 this morning at the Diamond Lakes Community Center on Winter Spring Road. Closing times differ from center to center, but the latest any stay open is 8 p.m. You can find this full list on our website, WRDW.com. From Crime Scene 12, a convicted serial flasher will face a judge today on a new, more serious charge. Chad Stefani is facing an attempted child molestation charge. Stefani's first appearance had to be rescheduled Wednesday because he didn't have a lawyer. He's accused of offering to pay a Grovetown mother $200 an hour to spend time alone with her 4 children, all under the age of 10. In 2013, he pled guilty to several counts of indecent exposure in 3 different counties. And a man accused of killing his mother and setting her house on fire will enter a plea today. Robert Caviston is set for arraignment in Augusta. He's charged with murder and arson in the November death of 92-year-old Agnes Caviston. Investigators say they found the suspect lying near the burned-out Wicklow Drive house naked except for a pair of shoes. Deputies say he repeatedly said he killed his mother. And the man suspected of killing his girlfriend at the Maxwell House Apartments will also face a judge today. David Kyler is charged with the murder of Matilda Jenkins, who was found unresponsive on Green Street February 8th. The coroner says she died from blunt force trauma to the head at the hospital. Kyler is set for a bond hearing. A body mix-up, an autopsy backlog, and the need for a local medical examiner have local coroners turning to state lawmakers for help. Coroners from Richmond, Burke, Lincoln, and other nearby counties will have a sit-down with the GBI and legislators next week in Atlanta. The GBI called Donnie Lowe last week to tell him the man buried in his brother's grave was not his brother. Now, the Richmond County coroner says it is a symptom of a larger problem, overload at the state crime lab.
We call them a lot of times and say, hey, we need an autopsy done. A lot of times they'll tell us, well, we'll call you when we have a table.
The Augusta GBI lab has been without a medical examiner since 2013, so every autopsy has to be done in Atlanta. Some Augusta families are still waiting for autopsy results after their loved ones were sent there months ago. Bobby Christina Brown now has a tracheostomy tube. A tracheostomy involves cutting into a patient's neck and is often performed on patients who need to be on a ventilator for an extended period of time. Brown was placed in a medically induced coma after being found nearly 3 weeks ago unresponsive in the bathtub of her Georgia home. Savannah's former police chief is in federal prison but will still collect a 6-figure pension. Willie Lovett is behind bars for allowing an illegal gambling hall to run and pocketing tens of thousands from them for a decade. State law forces convicted public employees to forfeit a part of their pensions, but that only applies to workers hired since 1985. Lovett joined the police department in 1972. The Richmond County Sheriff wants a command center and surveillance cameras downtown Augusta. He plans on adding 40 to 50 cameras along Broad Street. The sheriff says deputies could look at those cameras from a monitoring station at the new downtown precinct. And he says the system could handle more cameras because of the fiber optic cables there that make the internet faster.
You couldn't ask for a better location if you're talking about camera coverage and fiber optics, and it cuts your costs dramatically.
But the sheriff does still need funding. He's asking for money from commissioners now, but hopes to have staff in place by summer and cameras up soon after that. And the Richmond County Sheriff's Office wants your opinion on how they've been doing their job and where they could improve. They will set up a table in the food court at the Augusta Mall today to conduct a survey. They say the results will be incorporated into their strategy planning for Augusta. You can take those surveys from 10 to 4:30. The age requirement in kindergarten may change soon in Georgia. What a new study on Delane School says about that kind of idea. Plus,
it is the 50th anniversary of Malcolm X's assassination. I'm Don Champion inside the very auditorium where he was killed. Coming up, we talk to a daughter of the civil rights leader about his legacy and race in America.